Hey everybody, Jason Blaha here with Ice Cream Fitness. I have a topic today that's been asked by quite a few people for me to go into some details on, and I'm just going to briefly go into the details and explain the how and the why. And that topic is diet breaks when you're cutting. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. All right, on to the topic of diet breaks. One of the things that people have to keep in mind, if you're not dieting for a competition, or a specific date in which you need to be at a certain body fat or a certain level of rippedness, and you have a time frame in which you're working, like something competitive or a photo shoot or something of that nature, doing a long continual cut not only isn't the best way to achieve your goal, it might not actually work. And the reasons for that being, generally happens if either your caloric deficit gets too large for more than a few weeks, meaning you start running deficits larger than, say, 20% or 25%. An example of that would be if you have a 3,000 calorie maintenance and you start going below 23, 2,400 calories or even lower for more than a couple of weeks, or you've been cutting for months on end. Let's say you're not at a particularly high body fat, you're not really obese. Let's say you were starting at 18 or 20% body fat or something like that, and you start cutting. What tends to happen is that after about 3 to 4 months, what you'll usually see in that case also, just like with the very large deficit, is that your hormones will start to downregulate. Your body will do things to try to slow your metabolism to keep you from starving. High on that list is one, it will start reducing testosterone production to a certain extent, particularly if you're on a very low fat diet or you're going below the fat recommendations that a lot of us give you guys of at least 0.4 or 0.45 grams of dietary fat per pound of body weight. And it will do that in part because, again, the body just doesn't put a high priority on sex hormones when it's being starved. And two, this will help your body to go ahead and drop a little bit of muscle mass to slow your metabolism down to keep you from starving. And the other thing it will do is it will start downregulating thyroid production, particularly the conversion of T4 into its metabolically active version T3, which is generally just used by enhanced competitive bodybuilders. They just take T3. So they just put this hormone into their body. But if you don't have that advantage, what will happen is that your thyroid will slow over time. And this will slow your base metabolic rate. And again, it will allow your body to hold on to weight because it's simply producing less heat and it's trying to use fuel more efficiently so that it can keep itself from starving to death. So if you're in these sort of situations and you notice that your weight loss is starting to stall, one of the methods that you can do, and you can do this multiple times throughout a cut, particularly if you have long-term goals towards a cut rather than a set date, and that's to go ahead and take what's called a diet break. And what you do with a diet break is that you spend several weeks eating it close to maintenance again, and particularly eating a lot of carbs. And those extra calories and carbs are there not just for the purpose of speeding up your thyroid function and getting that back on track, but also giving you extra muscle glycogen, giving you extra gym performance so that you can spend a couple of weeks making progress again in the gym and regaining some of the muscle mass that you might have lost while you're cutting. And all of this is in an effort to get your metabolism sped back up so that you can continue your cut while eating more calories. Because the problem you run into at some point is that since the body will slowly slow metabolism down as you diet, is that at some point you're going to have to cut calories so low that you're not going to be able to live on your fat loss calories anymore, in the sense that you're not going to be able to stand it. It's better to take these periodic diet breaks than to have to deal with that. And what you want to do is that for a minimum of at least 2 weeks, you want to take what should have been your maintenance when you plug it in earlier in the cut or at the start of your cut, and you want to eat about 10% below that. And the reason for it being is that since your metabolism has stalled and you've probably lost some tissue weight, you don't want to accidentally go into a surplus. And by eating about 10% under that, which would be if your maintenance at the start of the cut had been about 3,000 calories, and you've stopped losing weight completely on 21 or 2200 calories and you're no longer losing weight fairly rapidly on that, your metabolism has definitely slowed it, because that should be a large deficit. And so in that case, you might want to consume around 2,700 calories for the next 2 weeks and put a focus on getting your lifts up in the gym, lifting heavy, and then reassess at the end of the 2 weeks. And what I would tell you is that a diet break like that needs to be a minimum of 2 weeks, and that for hormonal purposes, to get your hormone balance back in place. And if you do it less than that, you're just not getting a chronic enough effect to really benefit in that regard. And you can even extend it longer. We feel that you've really stalled in your diet, do it that way for 2 weeks, and then spend another week or two after that, taking up to a full month off from your diet, eating at what should be your maintenance. And what will happen with that is that during that 2 to 4 weeks, you're not going to gain any body fat, because you're not really eating at a caloric surplus, and you're replenishing a lot of long-term depleted glycogen. And so what tends to happen, any weight you gain during that time tends to be water weight, muscle weight, or muscle glycogen weight, or a combination of the three. So you don't need to be concerned with the weight gain you're having during that time. And then after that 2 to 4 weeks is up, you can go back into your cutting diet. And what you should find after you do that is that you're able to cut again on calories quite similar to what you were able to consume near the start of your cut before your metabolism slowed. And this is just one strategy that people can use in order to more easily reach their body fat goals without having to really starve themselves, and without having to deal with the extra stress and emotional stress of feeling deprived and restricted, and while losing less muscle mass along the way. So it's a strategy that's actually used by a lot of people. It's something that individuals like Lyle McDonald write about and speak about, and other nutrition experts. And it's something that may be helpful to you. So something to consider. If your metabolism has slowed a bit and you're no longer losing weight, or you've seen a diet stall, and you don't have a specific deadline by which you need to get your goal body fat, then a diet break like this can be a lifesaver. It can remove a lot of stress from your cut, and it can make things a lot easier. I hope it's been helpful to you. That's all I have to say on that today. Hold on, let me give you guys another bicep shot. And I'll talk to you next time.